I want you to think about the last time you had a really big week. Maybe it was like end of quarter, maybe it was SKO, maybe you were traveling, but you were working a ton and you were getting amazing results, whatever. And then I want you to think about what happened the week after that. Was it amazing? Were you also crushing it or did you crash? Like most people, like myself. Were you able to focus? Were you working super hard? Were you getting so much done? Probably not. And this is so normal. I want you to be really thoughtful about the times when you do exert a lot of energy and the times when you don't exert a lot of energy. And be really thoughtful about when you do this because working harder doesn't always get you better results. Today, I'm going to tell you all about this. I'm going to tell you the law that proves this true. And I'm also going to give you some really key ideas on how to frame this for yourself so that you get the best results for yourself and don't have to work that much. It's going to be so fun. Stick around. Before I get started, let me introduce myself. My name is Amber Deibert. I'm a performance coach for enterprise and strategic account executives. And I have seen this happen over and over with my clients recently. In over 6 different sessions with clients, things have happened where they're working too hard. They're not able to actually get the best performance out of themselves because they're kind of burning themselves out. So there's a law that talks about this. I have no idea how to actually say it because I've only ever read it. It's called the Yerkes-Dodson Law. It's Yerkes, Dodson. And basically, it's a law in psychology that it's kind of like a bell curve. So your peak performance happens at a certain point when your brain is aroused. And after that point, your performance completely declines. So if you're kind of bored, not really aroused, then your performance is pretty low. But then there's this optimal point in the middle where your performance is high, your arousal is pretty high. But if your arousal gets higher, like the anxiety increases, the stress increases, then your performance drops significantly and can even go lower than it was when you were bored and unengaged. This happens for every one of my clients. It's really tough because we have this conception that working harder is going to get us better results. And the problem is, working harder in the past did get us better results. So we have this pattern in our brains that if I just hustle, if I grind, if I burn myself out, then I'm going to make more money. I'm going to be successful. I'm going to get better results. And so the pattern is burned into our brain and we understand this to be true. However, it has diminishing returns, especially once you get into enterprise and strategic sales. Because once you're in enterprise and strategic sales, what's more important is that you strategize. When you're in SMB, mid-market, commercial sales, literally working more hours can get you better results. It's a very transactional sale. And if you know the script and you can just repeat it as many times as possible, you're going to close more deals. But once you get into enterprise and strategic sales, it's not about transactional sales. It's about being really thoughtful, being strategic, understanding how to navigate the sales cycle, understanding how to build relationships. And that is not something that you can grind your way through. I see this happening with so many clients. They find themselves operating at let's say a 4 out of 10 every day, and they don't give themselves the rest they need. They just keep grinding through. And then maybe they're a 3 out of 10 and then a 2 out of 10. And they just keep pushing themselves harder and harder and harder. And their results get worse and worse and worse. It doesn't feel fair, but I'm working so hard. Why are my results getting worse? What I want you to think of instead is in those times when you're a 4 out of 10, first of all, notice that you're there. And you don't have to judge yourself why you're there. Maybe you're there because you stayed up too late last night watching a dumb show and it's your own dang fault. Maybe you're there because you're feeling kind of sick. Maybe you've been traveling a lot. Whatever the reason is, just notice and become aware of the fact that you're operating at a 4 out of 10 right now. And then ask yourself, where do I want to be? Do I want to be a 10 out of 10? Do I want to be a 7 out of 10? What can I do to get myself there? And a lot of times it's not through hustling, grinding, muscling our way through. A lot of times the things that we need to get ourselves from a 4 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10 is letting ourselves rest. Maybe it's going for a walk. Maybe it's going and getting a drink. Maybe it's making sure that you've had lunch, which for me is very often difficult. I'm like, why am I so stressed out? Oh, it's 4 p.m. and I haven't had anything to eat for lunch today. That's probably going to help me. So giving yourself breaks, giving yourself rest, letting yourself stare at the wall, knowing that the disciplined version of you, if you doom scroll, you're actually going to feel worse. So maybe it's not doom scrolling, but maybe it's giving yourself real rest. Maybe it's reading a book, reading a news article. Maybe not scrolling in your news app because that can be a deadly place for many of you. But knowing what will give you true rest and focusing on the minimum viable. Okay, today I'm not at my best. What is the minimum that I absolutely need to get done? What are the fires that I need to put out? And then how can I let myself rest for the rest of the day so that by tomorrow, instead of burning myself out and being a 3 out of 10, tomorrow maybe I'm a 5 out of 10. Maybe I'm a 6 out of 10, a 7 out of 10. Maybe, who knows, I'm a 10 out of 10. I exercised, I got my water, I connected with a friend, I feel much better, and maybe tomorrow I'm operating much better. I think it's so much more important to operate at a 10 out of 10 for short periods of your day than it is to operate at a 4 out of 10 or a 3 out of 10 all day long. I want you to think about this. Which one benefits your team and your company more? Does it benefit them more for you to be a 3 out of 10 every day of the week? Or does it benefit them more for you to be a 10 out of 10 for shorter periods out of the week? Think about this. You know what the answer is. I know what the answer is. They are going to love having the 10 out of 10 version of you, even if it's only for 3 hours a day instead of 8 hours a day. That's going to benefit you, and it's going to benefit everyone around you. Your clients get the best version of you. Your prospects get the best version of you. Your team gets the best version of you. Your manager, your family gets the best version of you. You get the best version of you. Like, everybody benefits when you take care of yourself and make yourself able to operate out of 10 of a make yourself able to operate at a 10 out of 10. So we have this weird loyalty where we feel like we need to burn ourselves out. We feel like we need to be loyal. But what I've noticed with all of my clients is that all of us have some kind of window. I call this your superhero hours. Everybody has their own circadian rhythm. And at times you're at the top of your rhythm and you have tons of energy. And at other times you're at the bottom of your circadian rhythm and you have no energy and you're in a slump. And that's how your day is designed to be. I also think that in addition to the daily circadian rhythms, I think that there are energy rhythms in our week. I think there are energy rhythms in our month. I think there are energy rhythms in our year, for sure, in our quarters. So it's really helpful to know this about yourself and just start to notice, when am I at my best? Am I at my best during the 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. hour when it's after lunch and I'm kind of slogging and I actually don't really want to do anything? No, absolutely not. That's not when I'm at my best. But am I at my best when it's kind of like early mid-morning and I'm still feeling kind of fired up? I'm still feeling ready for the day. What I find a lot of people doing is that they have it all mixed up. They're using those morning superhero hours for navigating Slack messages, navigating Teams messages, responding to emails, trying to figure out what they're supposed to be doing today. If you can protect those superhero hours for your most important work, you're going to get more work done in less time. You'll have more focus and more energy to do it, and you'll do a better job. Doesn't that sound amazing? So your job is to pay attention to when are the times that you are at your best. When are the times when you're naturally more focused, naturally more energized? And how can you protect those hours so that you get your most important work done during that time? This is where we all get it mixed up. In the morning, we're kind of like still trying to figure out what needs to happen. And then by the late afternoon, when most of us are completely tired and like not functioning at our best, now we have to use adrenaline and cortisol to get ourselves motivated to hurry and finally get that thing done that we've been procrastinating all day. If you get it done when you're more focused, it's going to be easier. It's going to be higher quality and you're going to get it done more quickly. Okay, so first thing, stop expecting yourself to be completely, fully focused and alert for 8 to 12 hours a day. That's just not how humans work. Second thing, please pay attention to when you are at your best and do your most important work during that time. It's going to be so much easier. So then what do you do with the rest of the day? Well, the rest of the day is when you can kind of go on cruise control. This is where you can think about like 80% effort. Maybe this is when you're updating your CRM. Maybe this is when you're doing account research. Maybe this is when you're doing internal meetings. Maybe this is when you're doing follow-up emails with clients, if that's something that's easy for you. But during that 80% time, that's when you're kind of on cruise control. You're not expecting yourself to be at your best. You're just ticking things off the list. This is when I like to get some good music playing. I break down my list super small to make it really easy for me to accomplish these things. I might call that time clearing the list time because that sounds so much more fun than admin time. And I just crank. I just get things done. I get them out of the way. And then I go for a walk or I call a friend or I go get a drink or I read something interesting or watch a YouTube video. Like I let myself actually rest and actually recover without expecting myself to be completely focused and completely alert for 8 to 12 hours a day. Okay, I hope that this cracked something loose for you. I want you to notice that you're going to have the tendency to want to muscle your way through these things, to want to hustle, to want to grind, because that's what worked for you. It makes perfect sense that you want to do that. You've had so much success doing that. And in order to get to this next stage, it's going to be about protecting your energy. It's going to be about being smart about when you're on and when you're focused and using that time to do your most important work. And when you're not focused, using that time to do the stuff that doesn't matter as much. I hope this was helpful. I want to shout out that I am going to talk more about this in my newsletter. I'm going to talk about this 80% rule. I'm going to give you specific tips and tricks on how to navigate and figure out when your superhero hours are and how to optimize those. So if you want to join, go ahead and go check out my new website. It's mentalmastery.com. You'll see a button in the top corner that you can join the newsletter. It's a beautiful site. I'm very proud of it. You can also go there and take the quiz to find out what your work like you work out style is and get specific personalized advice for you on how to navigate that and how to optimize your day based on how you like to exercise. So hopefully this was helpful and I will see you next week.